Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Good morning, everyone. Blake Sloan here. Awesome show coming up. Brand new week. Got a special guest in the studio today. Mr. Alex Prout, also Mr. Rick Roberts, also part of the show with us today. So very excited. Got tons of great information. The market is still crazy, right? This is our 50th straight edition, the Corona edition, COVID-19 edition, with everything going on, and the craziness continues. So we'll really dig in today and just talk about the market numbers. For anyone who missed last week's show, they've been insane. The big kind of shocking number a lot of people are realizing and thinking about is inventory. We're still seeing a crisis right now in inventory. One thing that's really kind of driving the market, all-time lows right now there. One thing that we have huge news in is interest rates. They're back up again, huge jumps. I mean, considerable jumps. We'll talk about what happened there and how that affects the market for both home sellers, because less people qualify for your property, and also home buyers who now qualify for less amount of properties. And we'll talk about that. I had this on last week's show, didn't have a chance to get to it. I'm going to discuss it. Construction materials up almost 50% in regards to futures, and that's driving price, both new construction, some big news. Some of the national home builders announced they're not even doing custom builds right now. They're only building spec homes because cost materials is going up so quickly. So we'll dig into all that stuff. I mentioned last week kind of the analogy is that it's kind of like the real estate market is at this party, and it's borderline out of control. It's been drinking, maybe taking a few shots, and right now it's feeling really good. But a few more shots, you might end up in the ditch passed out, right? We're getting to that point where it's getting a little crazy. The amount of offers over asking price, buyers coming in. And so we'll talk about what's going on here with that, and also national data. One of the things we'll talk about with Alex Prout too is what a lot of clients are seeing with inexperienced agents right now, costing them $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 because the agent is not in tune with the pace of the market right now. So don't be part of that. We also have some amazing success stories, and we'll talk about that as well.
Okay, for any of you new listeners, just to give you an update on just who Blake is, it's an amazing story. Industry leaders have dubbed him the real estate whiz kid. Been featured in Forbes, Wall Street Journal, NBC, Realtor Magazine, and many other national publications. He has been personally endorsed by Sean Hannity and Glenn Beck. One of those by itself is an accomplishment. But all of them together is unprecedented. Last week, we learned a little about how you and your team work and how a good portion of your success has come from the trademark systems that you have developed to help both buyers and sellers here in our market. Recap quickly for anyone new to the show what those are exactly, and a quick overview of how they work.
Yeah, man, this is one thing that's crazy, especially in today's market. Again, we've been doing this show for, I think, 9-10 years, and really, it was a big deal for a long time, but right now, the stakes are just so high, and I see it, it doesn't matter really how affluent the person is, if they're a business person, non-business person, they always seem to make the same huge mistake. And the mistake is they think that all real estate agents are the same. It couldn't be any further from the truth. Just like any doctor, any lawyer, right? If you're charged with a crime you did not commit, you don't want just any lawyer, especially a part-time lawyer who may or may not practice that type of law, right? But in today's real estate world, what do? They go with a friend who practices real estate part-time, who leaves $20,000 or $30,000 on the table for the largest asset. And so here's the deal. The single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller comes down to one thing only. That thing is the agent you choose, period. Why is that? Well, in selling a house, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, guess what that does? Puts money in your pocket, property gets sold. Anything's handled incorrectly, aka they drop the ball, that costs you your hard-earned equity, right? Aka the money you've earned over the years. And it's really done in simple things. It could be anything that's so small as the pricing strategy. They leave money on the table. They get too easy on the price. Could you push it further? What are the quality of photos? What are the order of the photos in regards to how the buyer psychology comes into effect? Are they putting the right photos? Just had one last week. The first 7 photos were all the exterior of the house. It was actually a waterfront, oceanfront condo. The first picture of the ocean was picture number 23. The problem is the buyers will not make it that far. And so these are small mistakes agents make that compound through the entire process. It could be anything from, does the agent answer the telephone? Do they call back web leads? If they do call them back, how long does it take? And so all these variables, if they're handled correctly, will get you money. If they're handled incorrectly, they're drop the ball. Now, here's the big problem. One single agent, it's almost impossible for them to handle all those variables. And so what I did is we identified every single variable to create obviously a system that's proven repeatable that creates maximum leverage every single point. And it's like stacking the dominoes. We have both people on a team and systems and technology that create leverage for you to give you a competitive advantage when you're selling your home. The system's called the Guaranteed Sold System. The only proven system sells twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods, and it works very, very, very well. But it's designed, like I mentioned, to give you a huge competitive advantage. And right now, with the pace of the market, that could be anything from $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 extra dollars. You've heard probably some of the success stories and horror stories the past few weeks of people who did not have that. And so it's important to know. On the flip side, guess what? 100 plus variables on the buyer side. They're usually the opposite. And so who your agent is and how they execute matter. If they're by themselves trying to juggle all the balls, it's pretty much impossible. We kind of give the analogy, if most agents right now, today's marketplace with all the technology and the things, it's like having the same person, McDonald's, try to do the front register, the drive-thru, and the french fries at the same time, right? Not very effective, but people will still list their largest asset with someone who's trying to run the whole restaurant on their own. And unfortunately, it does not work out very well. So the buyer system we have is called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Get you priority access to foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation and purchase price, as well as home inspection, get you closing table. So here's the deal. In this market, it's so hot right now, you cannot touch it by yourself. So you want to know more about that, reach out to myself, to my office, 843-808-SOLD. Commercial.
Yes. No, that's what you do. Like,
Hey, if you were in the market to make the most money for your home, Sean Hannity here with some important advice. Now look, I'm an active investor. I have bought and sold a lot of properties in hot, cold, moderate markets. And one of the lessons I have learned is this: hire the agent that knows how to create the most demand for your home. Now, if I needed to create demand in this market, no question, there's only one real estate agent I trust if I needed to sell my home. I'm talking about Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. Now, he services the entire Myrtle Beach area, attracts hundreds of buyers every week, and sells a home on average every 24 hours. Now, that helps you generate multiple offers and sell your home for the most money possible.
what I will do after the show's over,
Edit it.
I will edit it all. I will take that out, put that, make it cute. I'll take care of that.
Perfect. Thank you.
And he offers flexible fees. Find out how much demand your home can command right now. Call the agent that creates the most demand. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most
Then we'll come to you
demand.
after
Bottom
this
line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Myrtle Beach, I would hire Blake Sloan. His international marketing creates so much demand that if your home doesn't sell at a price and deadline you agreed to, Blake will buy it. Partner with the agent I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, here with awesome show. Got a special guest in the studio, Mr. Alex Prout. We'll get to him in a second. And I want to give him some insight from him about what he's seeing. He's our team leader on our sales team, works with the buyer's agents, buyer experts, and the sell experts. And so we'll talk about what's happening. First, really quick, for anyone that missed last week's show, I want to get into the market numbers. Anybody even heard it last week? They're just crazy. As you remember, the past few weeks since COVID came in, we started tracking real time how many properties go under contract each week. As the lockdown happened, we went down to 300 homes per week going under contract, which is pretty low. Then it got up to 400, 500, 600. We were smoking hot. At the peak of last year, 2 months, usually about, I think, late June, July, we got 800 plus properties under contract. And so right now, as of the 7 days prior, Looking at how many properties under contract, 849 homes sold in the last 7 days went from active, AK on the market, to pending under contract. That's new buyers coming in, which is huge. What that means is we're seeing the summer market right now in early spring to late winter, really. And so right now, if you look at the amount of properties sold from a dollar standpoint, 235,467,271. I was looking over 11 properties over $1 million went under contract the last 7 days. So what that means, if you've been listening, there's a lot of stuff moving, a lot of high-end properties. We've had a lot of success with that on our team. And so that's one thing to kind of look at. What's the pace right now? It's unbelievable. I've been doing this a long time, since January 2005, grew up in the business, and it kind of has a remnants of when the market was so crazy back then as well. Looking at last month's numbers, so looking in hindsight, right? Properties that actually closed. Single-family resale homes up 19.7%, which is awesome news. 492 homes sold last month in the Grand Strand, which is great. Sales price, looking at sales price here, for the median price up 18.1% at $272,750, which is awesome there. Average sale price up 12.1%, $342,732. Huge, almost $350,000 average sale price on the Grand Strand, which we used to joke a lot because all my friends across the country make fun of me where we had such a low average sale price. They were $500,000-600,000. We were at 150s for a long time. And so for us to see that is great news because it means a lot more equity in your pocket. Now, here's the shocking number that really is kind of the biggest deal we've been talking about here. That's inventory. Inventory right now is down 62.8% across the board. This is huge because it's what's happening across the country right now. Been fueled by really in Myrtle Beach, a perfect storm. You had ultra low interest rates, all-time low interest rates, really. You had the lockdown that really frustrated people. Really, government's kind of shutting down restaurants, and you had these people who were scared and did not want to be in tight metropolitan areas are now relocating. Oh, by the way, they can also work remotely now for many large companies. And so guess where one of the sweet spots is? They're moving to Myrtle Beach. And so that's one thing that we've been capitalizing on here. I think we still have a lot more to go. But that's a big struggle right now. There's more buyers than there are availability of sellers out there. And so that's because some sellers were scared. And so that's something we'll talk about in a few minutes. But that's the biggest shocking number of last month. 62.8% less homes for sale than there was the same time last year, which is kind of crazy. Now, here's the one thing we look at, showings per listing. So this is how many buyers are looking at properties right now. I call it buyer traffic report. Right now, buyer traffic report's up 70.6% from the same time last year. So 70% more buyers looking at properties than there was the same exact time last year. And so that means, I've been teaching our team this for the past few weeks, is that it's hot right now. There's not going to be a typical summer market because people are moving earlier. They're motivated by interest rates, which we'll talk about in a second. That's something that's crazy right now overall. Into condo sales really quick for anyone. Condos, we've seen a lot of people move into condos because they're no longer can afford the price they're looking at for homes because that inventory is now gone. And so here's the thing. Condo sales last month up 27.3%. 466 condos sold last month, which is awesome news. Sales price, median sales price up 14.3% for condos at $160. And here's the thing, average price for condos up 19.1% at $199,853. So condos for the first time in probably since 2005, if that is crossing over $200,000, which is awesome. And so if you're a home seller or a condo owner, guess what? You have a lot more equity right now than you think. One of our success stories, we got a lady $40,000 more for a home than she thought she could get when she had it on the market at the end of last year. And so those are great news. One thing driving that right now, what you guys think about is interest rates. Now, here's the crazy part. We track this every single week. And so tracking this, last week's show was 3.01. We had huge news on that because here's the thing. 2 weeks ago, it was 2.83%. And so right now, so today's show, it's 3.12%. And so in the matter of 2 weeks, we've gone from 2.83 to 3.01, now to 3.12. And so that's something that's alarming to watch because it makes a lot of buyers pump the brakes. Why is that? Well, they can afford less property, less house, less condo, because obviously limitation of their debt to income based on what their payment would be. Now, here's the thing though. It also made people kind of who are on the edge hold off a little bit as these rates have risen, and they are. And so that's one thing I think may be interesting to watch because that's something you're seeing a lot of reports overall. Now, here's kind of what concerns me a little bit in that aspect because, quote, this is coming from Mortgage News Daily. It said February will go down as the worst month for rates since January 2018. And so that's just something to think about. If you're a home seller, right, and this party's going on, that means the party might be starting to calm down a little bit, right? A little bit less going on in the party. But if I'm a seller, I want to strike while that iron's hot. And so make sure if you're thinking about selling, but listen to the show for a while, you have not called me yet, or you're a friend or relative, make sure you tell them, look, you got to call Blake, right? We're getting to that point where I want to cash out. Buyers may be holding off a little bit. We may see some leveling out of prices. Reach out, call me in my office, 843-808-SOLD, or just go to blakesloan.com anytime, because I guarantee you in most cases, we're getting people a lot more equity than they thought they could through the process. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back really quick with some insight with Mr. Alex Pratt, what's happening in the marketplace. All right, so what you got there?
Execution bids. Katie's got the listing situation.
When I'm moving on, one of the awards for ACM Song of the Year, it struck a chord with folks who understand the challenges that come with life.
How much time looking?
For many,
How much time are we looking at?
Time to sell their home. If you're moving on, you want a real estate agent who will make selling your home easy and stress-free. An agent who's willing to let you out of the contract if you're not happy with their service. That's why in Myrtle Beach, I can tell you that Blake Sloan of Sloan Real
About 10 minutes, I guess.
markets your home on a whole different level.
20.
Listen, Blake is so confident in his ability to sell your home quickly and for more money that he guarantees to sell it or he'll buy it himself. If you're moving on, trust Blake to provide your family a stress-free home sale experience. Find Blake Sloan online at blakesloan.com, or you can call him at 843-808-SOLD. Start packing.
Welcome back, everyone. Back to our awesome show. Really quick on the intro, we have a special guest in our studio here, Mr. Alex Pratt, who's been with me for years and years. Great part of our team. He's our team leader, and I really want to talk about what we're seeing right now. First of all, good morning.
Good morning.
And first of all, I'll talk about what you're seeing in the marketplace from an agent quality standpoint, because you do the training. Obviously, what's your kind of feel for right now for, let's say I'm a home seller and I'm riding my car right now if I'm a home buyer and I'm like, man, I got a friend who's got a real estate license and I'm thinking about calling, and I know that it's not that complicated. Like, what would you say to someone out there, and based on your experience of what you're seeing right now, of the quality difference between all these real estate agents getting the market, because we got everyone getting in now. Everybody wants to be a realtor, right? Which is cool. Great. I love it. I was there at one point. You were there at one point. But with the pace of the market right now, what do you say to someone out there who's driving, thinking right now of like, man, what do I do? Who do I pick?
For many years, it was just kind of this struggle of who do I pick as an agent? And you could just kind of go into any big box brokerage and kind of just pick somebody out and go with them. But the bottom line is most places undertrain their staff and crew and their independent contractors for that matter. So what we're finding is there's agents across the board mismanaging the deal on both sides, which ultimately causes the deal either to be A, blown up altogether, or B, they're not getting favorable terms for their clients. And that doesn't matter if it's a buyer or a seller. We're watching it happen on all sides every day.
Yeah, give an example. Like we had one this week with Katie and our team. I mean, it's crazy to see. I think she had a listing, right?
Yep.
And they had a buyer's agent who got in. And what was kind of scenario with that?
So the buyer's agent clearly didn't understand the variables that were involved in the transaction. They were actually reaching out to Katie, the listing agent, asking about the appraisal, which is not even ordered on the listing side. That's something that you handle through the lender on behalf of your buyer.
Yeah, so like she's the buyer's agent. She represents the buyer, right? Goes to the real estate school, gets licensed. She's representing the buyer. And then her job is to get under contract. She gets it to the lender. And then her job is to follow up and make sure the appraisal gets ordered.
Exactly.
But in this case, she didn't even have a clue that there was even who was doing the appraisal, and she thought that Katie was the one managing the appraisal, right? Which is mind-blowing to me, because this is someone's largest asset. They're paying hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for, and there's someone in the game right now who doesn't even know what's going on. This is just one of the dozens and dozens of stories that we hear. Anything else that you see in regards to just mismanagement right now? And, because a lot of times you're dealing with our agents in our team when they're having issues. I mean, what are the main challenges you see out there for most people?
We're seeing challenges involving inspections. We're seeing challenges involving appraisals, and it's really just knowing how to manage those variables. I mean, there's any number of stories that could go on across the board in those, but knowing how to correctly approach, whether it be a repair addendum or whether it be negotiations on the back end of an appraisal, can really make or break the deal itself.
Got it. And that's one thing, that last thing, because this is just, I know Blake gets on here and runs his mouth every week and just talks about how hard we push. And everybody's probably thinking this dude's full of it. But from a real standpoint, what would you say, like, how do we really operate as a team? Like from a precision standpoint, like what's the intensity that we train at, like, and push from an excellence aspect of our culture? Like, what would you say to me about here? Two things. Number one, they're thinking about, if they're in real estate, thinking about joining a team or a company, or if I'm a consumer, I'm like, dude, who am I going to pick? Like, what makes you guys different? What would you say to something like that?
I can say from a personal experience, I first came to you in August of 2014, and one thing that has never let up is just keeping the pedal down on intensity. We train hard, we push hard, we really go hard for our clients, and that has never let up. That's been one of the most consistent things about this organization, and it's part of the reason I love what I do.
Cool, man, because that's one thing that, that we got a little bit of crazy in us, right?
Yeah.
And we don't apologize for that because we continue to push. And so very glad to have Alex in. I just wanted to kind of share some perspective because there's just a lot going on right now. And that's the thing, man. Like, there's a lot of great, nice people, but unfortunately in today's like technology world, you got virtual brokerages, you got people who are working from their kitchen table, but like, dude, they're not getting the training. They need to get you that advantage. And so with us, we invest, literally almost 6 figures a year in coaching. As an organization, we train on Tuesdays. We train on Thursdays. You train on what? Mondays and Wednesdays for everyone.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I do Tuesdays, Thursdays. Like, we push hard. Our team has a huddle every morning at 9 a.m. We go through everything going on, the market field, just because I want our team to feel the intensity of what's happening so they can advise their client the same way. Because right now we're having a lot of buyers who are missing out on properties, right? Or
Absolutely.
A seller whose agent doesn't advise them correctly, they underprice a property, it costs them $10, $20, and I've seen up to $30,000 right now. And so that's really huge news. Move on really quick. I know we got a few minutes left. I want to talk about what Dave usually does is just our hot buyers alert. And here's the thing. We have a massive amount of buyers. If you remember, listen to the show for a while, what Dave does every week, I show him basically our website, our back end of how many active buyers we have. And these are usually, like, just so you know, username, password, account. Like, this is not like how many hits do you get. Right now, active buyers on our website, we have 60,314 active buyers. And what that means is they're from all over the country. And I share that because I want to put my money where my mouth is and say, look, here's who we have. We have buyers from all over the country right now. I can't say it, Tagai Cruz from Brooklyn, New York. I got Patty Goodsport on here. I got Jody Morrell from Endicott, New York. I got Kathy Beatty from Charleston, South Carolina. I got Julie Dennis from East Dorset, Vermont. And she just registered 10 minutes ago. I got Melissa from Cary, North Carolina. Vicky from Myrtle Beach. And so I share that because we have a national and a global reach. Why is that? Well, has to do with our business model. And so we outspend the average agent 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint because I think how many agents are on the buy side? We have 18 buyers agents right now.
Yes.
We have 18 buyers agents on our team, and all they do is work with buyers. We have 2 full-time listing partners along with myself. We have an inside sales team called our VIP Concierge. We have Joe and Holly. They both do that, as well as a full administrative team and a full-time videographer and camera person. And so that's the advantage. But to feed that machine, we spend a massive amount of money. And one of the things I'm most proud of, I think today's the 50th straight week of the COVID show. And I made an announcement on week 1 that I made sure I would not pull my foot off the pedal. And I was scared out of my mind because I did not know what was going to happen. I didn't let go of any staff, and I doubled down on marketing, and thank goodness we came through. And so if you're thinking about selling, I share that number with you because we have real buyers, right? We have a team and a system. And so what makes me different? Why should you call me? Because I'm spending tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars to generate buyers for your house before you ever listen to this radio show. And part of that is the 60,314 buyers we have. And I can get those buyers matched to you, which increases demand for your property and gets it sold for more money. So really quick, I want to get to awesome success stories. Really cool, 2 really good ones. Timmy, this is an awesome one. She previously had her house listed with a different agent, no luck getting sold, nothing but frustration, empty promises. Thankfully, she tried to give it another go, and she saw one of our billboards on 17, which is awesome. If you've seen those, right, reach out, call us on that. But here's the coolest part. We came in, designed a custom plan, launched our global marketing blitz, professional photos, our virtual reality walkthrough. Within 1 week, had massive traffic, 2 full price offers on her home. And here's the coolest part. We listed it for $40,000 more than she had it listed for last time, which is awesome. So now she can move on, right? She's downsizing, but she put $40,000 extra dollars in her pocket over what she thought she could get from previously when she had it listed with someone else, all due to marketing and exposure that our system does. And so if that does anything, you should just show the proof of how important it is right now in today's market. Really quick also, Terry and Millie, they're awesome listeners of the show. They decided it was time for them to move back to West Virginia to be closer to family. Thankfully, Terry's a big listener of the show here. He knew exactly who to call first before being a horror story. We came in, designed a custom plan, launched global marketing blitz, professional photos, virtual reality walkthrough. Within a few hours, we had one of our buyers come in, looked at the home, made a full price offer. Now they can move back to West Virginia, be closer to family, with ultimately more money in pocket. So that's just something super important. How much time we got left, Rick? About 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes left really quick. So here's a cool thing I just want to talk about too. Right now is super, super important. And we did a news interview with WBTW last week that just talked about who's moving here, what's happening. And so I really want to talk about one of the things that we've seen is just who all's moving in. And I got the top relocating states. Ironically, North Carolina number one with 22.1%, New York number two at 15.5%, Pennsylvania number three, 12.1%, New Jersey 10.9%, Virginia, Florida, ironically, we call those the halfbackers. They went to Florida to be away, then they came halfway back up north, and they come right to Myrtle Beach because they can get home and see their family in a pretty short drive. Maryland, Connecticut, Ohio, Massachusetts. And so that's who we're seeing come down here in that aspect. And that's just something that's crazy to kind of think about. The top 5 reasons you're seeing them do that, really. Number one, affordability and value. That's what they're seeing there, where you just see a much higher average sale price in other areas versus, you see people sell a house for $600,000 up north in New Jersey, New York, very high taxes. Property taxes, that is. They come down here, they can buy the same square footage house for $250,000, $300,000 and have a lower cost of living, which is something that's important. The second reason we talked about is low property taxes. That's something where we're the 7th lowest in the United States right now in South Carolina for now, which is awesome, right? And so that's something that's important in that aspect. And here's the crazy part. If you look at everyone that moved in the top 10 relocating states, Northerners made 61% of the people who relocated to Horry County, which is crazy. And that's from the DMV here in South Carolina. Number 3 is weather, right? We have mild weather, which is awesome. I was looking obviously into March. Our average high is 65 degrees, right? We had a rough January, February, but that's a lot better than seeing snow on the ground in March in those areas. Number 4, variety of people, right? Myrtle Beach is a melting pot. I've been born and raised here my whole life. I've seen that and seen the growth, and that's something everybody likes. And also tradition and legacy, right? It's one of the most desirable climate-added areas. People come in here, and so people are moving here right now. People need your house. If you're thinking about selling, reach out, call my team. We'll make sure we execute and get you top dollar like we did for Tam in that regard and get $40,000 more than she actually thought she'd get. How much we got? 10 seconds, right? 1 minute. We're 1 minute left. All right. We got to we're running crazy here. 1 minute. Here's the thing. Other thing, we're also looking to add to the team. Alex, what's your thoughts on that? Anybody out there that sharp, hungry, what would you say to them?
Sharp as a tack, enthusiastic. I'm willing to become an expert at this thing. It doesn't happen overnight, but I promise you, the way we do it, we hit the ground running hard when you start. Usually by day 4 or 5, you're talking to people about getting them into homes, and we've got support behind that, direct from myself and Blake, to make sure that everything's managed correctly. So it's a fast learning process and a very great career to be in.
Yes, we have the team behind us, technology, systems, and a massive amount of capital who can help make sure that you get the resources you need. That's it. Everybody have a good weekend.